I think we have part of self improvement messed up when it comes to becoming something or becoming somebody. My whole point is that, you know, you don't become somebody, you are somebody. And I feel like we just become more aware. Life is full of things that sort of sit in our face, sort of just allow us to perceive them. So we're better able to perceive ourselves. And I'm talking about all our trials and tribulations, all your issues, all everything. I feel like all of it is sort of intentional, and the point of it is to just make you more present. Make you more present of your mannerisms, make you more present of yourself and how you interact with the world around you, and what you can do to sort of make it easier on yourself just to exist. I feel like part of existence should be the fun of getting to understand yourself and getting to understand which parts of you are going to flourish in certain environments. And, the best thing I found is realizing that you can kind of get everything from everything. In saying that, I mean, as vast as the world gets, as vast as the universe gets, as vast as anything in this world gets, what's inside of us is a lot more vast. I think the depth of understanding, the depth of people, the depth of who we are, the depth of who we become, the depth of who we become aware of is beyond any of our comprehension. I feel like in a lot of ways we're limitless, we're infinite. We have so much potential. We have so many things that we are able to do, so many things that we haven't even thought of. And I think the point is not necessarily trying to find all these things, but being present enough to see when these things arise. Because it's not necessarily something like, oh, I've never tried drawing, I'm going to draw, and then you're all of a sudden a great artist. It's like, oh, I got bored one day, I'll draw, and I figured out I love this form of expression, and it shows me a lot about myself. And you keep doing it, you keep getting better. And it's not necessarily about how good the art is, but how much you become aware of yourself while doing it. It's about those little things that allow you to become present with yourself. And that's why I think it's important. And I say, you need to find the things that bring you back to yourself. Find the things that make you aware of the person you are, make you aware of what you, hope to gain in this sort of experience. And that thing for me was definitely writing. And it definitely still is. Like I wrote this morning. And, you come to certain realizations once you allow yourself to sort of see yourself. It's about expressing yourself to self, not necessarily expressing yourself to other people or expressing yourself outward, but expressing yourself inwardly. Allowing parts of your internal being, stuff you keep in the dark, stuff you keep hidden, stuff you keep trapped behind the door, to come to light in your expression. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with other people, because I know it gets uncomfortable to be vulnerable in expressing parts of ourselves that we hardly understand ourselves. But my thing is, it's not about keeping those things at bay and keeping those things in shadow. It's about learning how to express them in your actions in different ways. Once you figure out you are a certain way from one type of expression, you learn how to transmute that into another thing. You learn how to change it into something where it's adaptable. Like, that's why I say be the body and not the shadow, but you have to realize you're both. It's about taking your negative parts, taking the parts of you that seek out change and renovating them, changing them into something good. And one thing that I peeped literally this morning, I didn't want to say it. I was like, wow, like I wrote about sort of the shadow, and I guess I could read it to you. Hold on, where my book? Oh. Y'all gonna get live transcription. It's something I just recently wrote. It's so beautiful at times how each part makes the whole more significant. It's vast beyond recognition and so finite all at once. I'm talking about like how our expression, who we are as people, is something very limited in the sense that we put labels on ourselves, we put ourselves in boxes, we allow ourselves to be one certain way, and we don't allow ourselves to change in terms of our definition of ourselves, but change in terms of our exterior and whatever. We have to realize we're constantly changing something, and infinite in the sense that I feel like a lot of people in their minds, they have a sort of depth of understanding of themselves and of the world to realize that you're supposed to dream big in a certain sense. but they don't do it because of, I don't know, who they think they are. In some ways, we as people, no, I'm not gonna read that part. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like we allow our shadow to play sort of backseat driver, and this captain, he's okay with driving the ship so long as we don't bring him forward. But it's uncomfortable driving from a backseat. It's hard to do, and you're bound to run into more problems, bound to run into stuff, and feel bad about the fact that you're backseat driving, bad about the fact that you're not allowing yourself to be expressed in certain ways. And and I said maybe then he'll realize, moving forward is safe driving, is worth the risk of being seen. As when we bring darkness to light, it too will show its vibrance. Some things are only dark due to the shadow we cast over them. And that's to say, your negative parts of you are still you. And they are still parts of you that you have to learn to love. And it's not saying that they're going to stay that way. They're not saying that it's going to be that way forever. I think that the most important thing is renovation. Being present enough to realize and sit with your change, sit with the things that want to change, and change it. You can't hate yourself into being a better person. You have to love yourself into being a better person. You have to realize that no matter what you do, it's about what you do for you. It's about how you view yourself and how you allow yourself to be. Because if you're constantly getting on yourself about your negativity, you're constantly trying to hide those little pieces and parts of you that you feel like you need to change. You need to work on your acceptance a little bit. I have parts of myself that I think I'm currently changing, that I think I need to change, work on, develop, and renovate. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate who I am now. It's about appreciating yourself while you're changing. I said that in a couple of videos. But the conclusion I had when I was writing was, if the light is coming from you, there is no shadow. If you were the light, if you were bringing that to your life, if you're being the life in your life, then there can be no shadow. If you're bringing yourself forward with authenticity and truth, allowing yourself to exist in the space and not necessarily being afraid to do so. Because what I've realized is, people are going to be as they are. Most people are just focused on their life. Most people are focused on their own internal monologue, their own dilemmas, their own problems, their own this is, that, and the other. And it's important for you to focus on you as well. As much as you focus on your perception of yourself from other people, you should worry about your perception of yourself from yourself. It gets too easy to not realize that, you have to give yourself a helping hand in life sometimes. Life becomes sort of a symphony. It becomes something more beautiful the more you allow yourself to see it. And when you're too trapped in your mind and you're overthought and thinking for thinking's sake, you won't be able to truly experience. And that's all life is, experience. All life is that blank sound. It's just being here, right here and now. And presence isn't always an easy thing to attain. I had to meditate. Sometimes I still don't feel present nowadays. It's something I recently realized you really have to do in order to self-improve. It's about being present. Like I said, you don't become somebody. You are somebody. You just become aware. It's about being present enough to become aware. Present enough to see the parts of yourself. Present enough to sort of navigate your own challenges and navigate your own change. It's either, your change controls you or you control your change. And if your change controls you, I feel like sometimes, negative things happen to us so we are able to change and be present. But sometimes we do it in a negative way. Sometimes, when encountered with negative circumstance, we have negative reaction. And that's, it makes sense. But I feel like when it comes to building yourself up and creating a foundation, you can't build it on negativity. Like I said, you can't build yourself up with negativity. You can't hate yourself into being better. You have to just understand that, you're flawed and you have mistakes. You can be wrong. But, sometimes you have to be incorrect in order to find the correct answer. It's about being bold enough to be yourself and be unapologetically yourself. but not necessarily in a way that's arrogant, not in a way that's cocky, not in a way that's selfish, in a way that's selfless to yourself. Realizing that you have to sort of show everything, not everything, but like be yourself, because that's where you're gonna find the best opportunity to change. So we're gonna find the best reasons, because you're gonna, if you allow yourself to sort of shine light through yourself, if you become the light, you become the light, you're going to be able to see the parts of you that you want to change, sort of the part of you that is seeking out renovation, those little bits and parts that, I don't know, that sort of get on your nerves. Of course, love yourself, but love yourself so much you want better for yourself over and over again. Love yourself so much that, what you do becomes an embodiment of that love. And if you loved yourself, you take care of yourself and you do stuff to make your life better. You do stuff to make existence more of an easy thing for yourself. And sometimes pieces and parts of you, that aren't necessarily pulled by you, sometimes society, sometimes your parents, sometimes whatever, are pulling your strings in ways that are unbefitting of you. And it's about realizing when your strings are being pulled, and learn how to pull them yourself. And sometimes you might pull them the wrong way. And it's not about pulling them the wrong way. It's just about being intentional with pulling them yourself. Because once you pull them the wrong way, then you be like, oh, I felt that I did that. Once you put your hand into it, once you start to control the figure, you realize when you make mistakes. You realize when you did something wrong. And you almost instantaneously, I feel like, learn how to react to it better. I realized this recently in my conversations sometimes with some people, because I be getting aggravated. But I don't express it outwardly, but sometimes I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And sometimes it's just about letting that down, letting that ego down, and just being like, things are as they are. I need to let this situation just be and exist in my own harmony. Don't sacrifice your own internal peace for something that's not worth anything. All that to say, renovate yourself. You are somebody. Just become more aware of it. Try to figure yourself out. And it's a never ending thing. Like you figure out more and more about yourself the more you do. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate the love and support I've been getting. You guys are really one of one. I cannot lie. I'm gonna get some streams for y'all soon. My computer is acting good, but it's also messing up here and there. So we're gonna do what we can. And I've been working on a project with some of my friends, and we're gonna drop some stuff probably mid-June, late June, probably early July. It's just another look at sort of individual creativity, because I feel like there's so much beauty, so much passion, so much inspiration in every person's actions, whether or not it be something creative, just the way they talk, the way they express themselves, the way they've learned things, and the way they try to teach them. So try to be intentional with your perception and how you see the world and how you see other people. Make sure you're keeping an open mind, but also, look at yourself. All in all, thank you. Keep being y'all. Keep being great. Treat yourself like a friend. And